Hello, welcome to Soulprint Intuitive Tarot for November 26th. So thank you so much for being here. To my new subscribers, welcome. I hope you enjoy being part of the Soulprint experience. All of the support, the comments, the donations, it's just amazing. The thumbs up, the views, they're incredible. And I thank you so very much. They truly are appreciated. And they really do sort of keep me motivated to keep on, bringing this information to you as I can. So, today I want to do, sorry, Nova's just crawling around here. He should be sticking his head in the frame any minute. There you go, buddy. Go eat. Come on. No? Okay. I want to do 3 shorter readings today. I want to look at Biden. I want to look at the infrastructure sort of plan. And I want to look at the king of the con because, legal trouble, right? So let's start with Biden, okay? Let's take a look at Joe Biden. So the thing is, he's been getting a lot of slack lately, and he's been under a lot of pressure lately. For people who are like saying, oh, I'm just so frustrated, he's not doing what, what he said he was going to do, and it's not getting done fast enough. Well, that's because not enough Democrats were elected to the Senate. And because of that, he has, people keep saying it's a razor thin, but it's not. It's a 50-50 split. And yeah, Kamala Harris can come in and she can take it up to 51. But he's got no wiggle room, and he has 2 real holdouts, right? He's got Manchin and Sinema. Although from what I understand, Manson's, I guess, at least coming around. I don't know about that Sinema chick. But he's doing everything that can be done. And, we know from other readings that there's going to be some movement, I think, probably on the filibuster, to try to get stuff moving. But, he's taken a hit. And I want to just take a look and see how he's actually doing, how he's holding up, and what I'm going to maybe say the balance of the year. Okay, so what is that? 9 weeks? Like that? God almighty, how did it get to be like that close to the end of the year? Holy Lord. Okay, so let's take a look at President Joe Biden. Come on down, I have a question. All right, here we go. So, President Joe Biden. Where's he at? How's he doing? What's going on with him? Here we go. Okay, so for right now, in this sort of moment in time, if you will, there's conversations going on. There's stuff going on that is hopeful, and I think this actually really does pertain to the Build Back Better plan. So something, I don't know, I've only caught snippets of it, but from what I gather, part of the reason that there's this big push on to get this thing done by Halloween is because he is apparently going to Copenhagen, I guess early in November, and he's meeting with a bunch of other, world leaders. And I do believe climate change is going to be on the agenda. And he cannot have a serious conversation where people, frankly, are going to take him seriously because, the U.S. presidency is in a bit of dicey ground after all the damage that was done to it because of that last guy. So he needs to be able to say, this is the legislation we got passed with regards to climate change. This is what our plan is. This is what we're going to do. So I think that that's part of what is going on, is there's a real push for him to get something on the table that's going to work. Okay? the Knight of Pentacles here is he's going to do it. It's going to, somehow or another, he's going to bring it home, and there's going to be legislation passed. Make no mistake, it is not going to be the legislation that he wanted. It's not going to be everything. But you know what? This is the thing. Listen, probably almost everybody watching this video has been in negotiations of some kind. Okay? You start out with the absolute highest possible number that you think you're going to be able to get. All right? And then the person on the flip side comes back with the absolute lowest number they think they're going to be able to get. And that goes back and forth. Okay? So built into the $3.5 trillion package were some things that it would have been absolute gravy. It would have been brilliant to have gotten them all through. But realistically, and trust me, politicians are realistic. A lot of them are crooked, but they're realistic usually. You know, they knew some stuff was going to end up on the cutting room floor. But what's been so interesting is it's sort of like, okay, we're going to do this now, and then we're going to push for some of the stuff that got lost. And I suppose the implied suggestion is if the voters give us a bigger Senate majority than we have now, and we can actually cram some of this stuff through. So, you know, people can complain all they want, but this is the nature of the world. Okay, I'm sorry, it just is. It's not unique to your country. It's not unique to your leader. But nobody ever gets everything they want. Ever. Come on down. I digress. Okay. So, and there's going to be, listen, he's going to have that victory. He's got the victory card. He's got the Three of Cups. There's going to be people who are going to be very happy about it. There's going to be some celebrating going on. There's going to be feel-good emotions happening. So it feels like he's going to leave October, go into the beginning part of November in relatively, you know, in better shape, I guess I want to say, than he is right at this moment. Okay? So that's where we're sort of, that's the snapshot of right now and the very immediate future. There is going to be okay, first of all, there is a lot more brainstorming and negotiating going on behind the scenes than anybody is aware of. And he is managing to keep this thing moving forward. The agenda, it's moving forward. Yep, you know what? It ain't on no speedboat. Okay, it's kind of like on a canoe. Okay, but it's moving in the right direction, and it will continue to move in the right direction. And yeah, you know, he got some stuff. He's going to lose some stuff, but ultimately, the two holdouts are going to fall into line. And maybe they're not going to love falling into line, or they're not going to be thrilled about it, but at some point, they're going to fall into line. Okay? Now, just as a side tangent here, there were some comments or some questions actually that were sent in for the last pendulum reading, and people were asking if the Republicans were going to actually run sort of fake Democrats in the midterm elections who then would win because, you know, everybody's wanting to vote blue no matter who. And then what would happen is that there would end up being more obstruction in the actual Senate coming from the actual Democrats. I have checked. At this point, I don't see it. Not as a sort of solid plan, not as a strategy, in part because, you know, that really sort of implies that some people are really dumb, that voters are really dumb, and they don't put any attention and aren't paying any attention to what is going on. As Biden gets these wins, okay, you're going to find some of the people who are just so weary of politics, they sort of shut down or shut off. They're going to start kind of paying a little bit more attention to what's going on. But I have to tell you, I do not see sort of fake Democrats trying to join the party. And listen up. The Dems have had it, particularly with the likes of Kristen Sinema. And so they're going to be pretty careful about sort of just letting anybody join the party, okay? Like, they're going to be pretty careful about making sure that these people are getting the right message out and that they have been vetted, okay? Let's not forget, these people all end up getting vetted. Okay. So looks like poor President Biden is going to have, there's going to be a lot of really fast moving parts, it feels like, over the next few months. And, in some ways, he's going to really, really want to try to kind of return things to the way they were, okay? But more and more, he realizes that that's not the game that is currently being played in Washington right now. And he understands that he's going to have to move away from some of those, I guess, memories of how things used to be when there was actually bipartisan efforts going into the Congress and people were working across the aisle. I'm not seeing that happening, certainly not anywhere in the immediate future. And so he's going to have to sort of readjust his vision, if you will. And one of the things it looks like he's going to have to readjust his vision on is, the filibuster. And I know at that town hall he said that, he's looking at it another way now. He's also, I think, going to have to look at the Supreme Court another way, because and it's been a hard learning curve for the guy, okay? He's been in politics for, 40 years? And all of a sudden, somebody pulls the rug out from underneath you and says, yeah, that's not going to work anymore. And you know what? He had a taste of it in Obama's last term, but it's gotten so much worse and so much more toxic. And so that's part of what is going on here and part of what is, everybody's sort of dealing with here, okay? It also looks like he's going to have to make some decisions, and I don't know that they're going to be very easy decisions for him to make. It feels as if he is going to have to do some real soul searching and some real thinking, but he's got some decisions that he's literally weighing his options because he recognizes that on some level things are ending, and yes, there's new beginnings, but it's almost like, for right now anyways, there's this new way of politics, and he has to make some really hard decisions and choices that perhaps another president has never had to make. And so that's going to be particularly hard and troublesome for somebody who was really hoping that once he took office, he could sort of reset back to something that was at least a little bit more normal. And over the last, months, he has figured out that there is no reset button when it comes to Mitch McConnell. There is no reset button when it comes to the Republicans. Yep, look, he's got decisions to make. And I can't get a lot of clarity on what these decisions are, but certainly, he may have to be looking at, like I said, some choices or decisions that previous presidents have not had to make. For example, it's not up to him whether the king of the con faces indictments. That's the Department of Justice. And it's not even up to him to prevent a previous president from getting sent to jail, if such a thing is going to happen. But it is the first time that you have a sitting president where the previous president was so corrupt that without batting an eyelash, they actually, made plans and carried out plans for an insurrection. Like, let's think about how unbelievably abnormal that is, okay? And this is the kind of stuff that is sitting on his shoulders. He's well aware that you have to be strong and just, but he's also really aware that if things are not re-envisioned, this could be a replay. And he sure as heck doesn't want to see a replay even in the midterms. Even in the midterms. Especially, let's not forget, I don't believe I'm alone in saying that I believe that by the midterms, the Dems are going to end up in the Senate with a larger majority than they have now. Okay? Well, let's think about how the Republicans are going to react if a couple of those seats end up not going red, that they expected to go red, that they thought were safe, or even that were purple and they thought they would bring them back into the red column, except they went blue. The Republicans are not going to take kindly to that. And there's an awareness. I think maybe in the last 4 years, a whole bunch of us kind of got a little bit too used to that sort of transactional attitude and behavior. But politicians, by and large, they play a longer game than that. So don't kid yourself into thinking that there isn't some serious talking going on and, discussions about how to secure 2022 and 2024 and 2026, etc. All right? Yeah, this has been hard for him, and he really has had his hands a whole lot more tied than I think a lot of people realize. But you know what? He's getting a handle on it. He really is. He's sort of a little bit appalled at some of the stuff that is he's finding out, and it's not sitting well with him. And he is not going to let this country, his country, your country, become so destroyed, not only domestically, but internationally. He's going to do everything he can to get that monkey off his back. And he's going to do it. Yep, he is. He is going to literally continue to change the fortunes of the United States for the better as he continues one thing at a time to assess, reflect, and start adjusting. He's going to move you guys from some really hard times, and justice waits. Justice waits. And it will bring down that which was built on corrupt ground, and it will bring success and happiness and illumination. Okay, so I kind of think that actually covered both kind of questions. It sort of hit on the Build Back Better deal, and it hit on Biden, and so now let's take a stroll over to the dark side, shall we? And let's see what we can find out about how things are going for the King of Mar-a-Lago. Interesting. Look at the two cards. So you've got the King of Pentacles, which is my card for him, but you've also got that card of bullying and theft, right? Interesting, because that really is. Those are his trademarks, right? So let's take a look at him. Things have not been going very well for him. This whole media thing, this launched media thing, apparently it is off to one heck of a rocky, bumpy start. And I don't see that actually ending so well for him. And I don't understand, so I'm not going to try to explain kind of the logistics of how this thing works, but it's like there's this group, and then they in turn lend money to other groups that are sort of part of the digital age, if you will. That was where, Trump's new company, whatever it's called, Truth something, I don't know. I mean, how he can even have anything connected to him with the word truth in it is just beyond my comprehension. But anyways, and except now people who were in this sort of big holding company or conglomerate or grouping of people who actually supplied the funds are all upset now because a whole bunch of them said that they don't want anything to do with Trump and any of his nonsense. So I don't know. I think it's going to be a little shaky for him, but we'll see. Let's just see what's going on with him, shall we? He who shall not be named. Okay. Come on down. Let's take a look. Okay, so we have Trump, current situation. Trump, current situation, Trump, current situation. And I'm quite sure we should be able to get a bit of a trajectory on that too. So let's see what we can find out, shall we? Well, okay then. So he's going to be hearing news. This is the thing. Every day, every 2 days, sometimes multiple times a day, this poor guy is just getting bad news, okay? He's getting, more bad news than good news, right? I mean, he had this whole dealy thing worked out with this new social media company that was going to be bigger and better than anything. Except that didn't go over so well after people actually started putting the pieces together. And, again, I don't know a whole lot about stocks, but you had a whole bunch of people who bought high, and there's a whole lot of trading going on back and forth. And maybe people are making money, but I have a feeling that people are going to lose money when this thing sort of crashes. So he really is like that dead person who won't lay down. Okay, he's not going to stop. He's going to keep pushing. And the reason he's going to keep pushing is because he is hemorrhaging money. He has nothing but legal problems stacking up behind him. He is finding out that more and more people are abandoning shit because they realize that he doesn't have any political clout or very little. What he has is a bunch of cult-like followers. Oh my God. Okay. I don't know if any of you saw it. I came across a clip on YouTube that was an outtake from CNN. I think it was Robert Acosta it was his segment. Anyway, somebody had gone into one of the last rallies, one of the Trump rally, and we're talking to the people. Most of them were dressed like clowns in as much as they were wearing really crazy American flag clothing that just looked silly. They had flags that were, one of them, if I remember correctly, I think it was Trump riding a dinosaur and shooting a machine gun. Anyways, so this guy was talking to this old gent, and I can't remember it verbatim, but it was like this. Who is the president of the United States right now? Donald Trump. And he controls the military too. Oh. If Donald Trump controls the military, then is Donald Trump's not responsible for the kind of rough departure from Afghanistan? Oh, well, that's above my pay grade. I don't know about that. I don't know nothing about that. Now, let me tell you. You know that guy with the horn? Yeah, he's not one of us. He's something else. And you know what? If you look, there's a video of that one of those planes leaving Afghanistan. There's this one guy who like is waving at the cameras as he's running beside this plane that's trying to take off. Do you see him? Well, you go check it out because I'm telling you, it's the same person. It is the same person. The guy with the horns and the guy running in Afghanistan, same person. I think the guy in the horns is in jail. Well, that's just what they want you to think, isn't it now? Oh my God. I shouldn't gasp that often. I'm not all that young, I don't know if my heart can take. It was so insane that it made the crazy almost seem like normal if this was going to be the new level of crazy, if you understand what I'm saying. That's who he has, okay? The politicians are drifting away from him because they're starting to, listen, they're not being obvious, okay? Don't misunderstand. But what's happening is, as you know, he keeps, what is that word? Endorsing. When he keeps endorsing people and then they keep losing, slowly but surely people are going to go, wow, wait a minute, this maybe I've hitched my star to the wrong wagon here. Meanwhile, Trump is going to be continuing to fight on all levels, just continual bad news. It just is. He is going to be there's going to be so much stuff that comes out about his illegal activities, where he has stolen, where things have been corrupt, where things weren't on the up and up, where there was insurance fraud, where there was bank fraud, where there was money laundering, where there was perhaps some other things that we haven't even found out yet. And as this all boils and boils, he is going to become more and more diminished. But be careful, because he's also going to become more and more crazy. Okay? He's going to become more and more outrageous. And so are those cult-like followers of his. Now, does that make them dangerous? I don't think so. Right? I don't. Because if people were smart, they would recognize that the more of these stories about just how insane what these people think and believe is, the more and more Republicans, frankly, who are on Trump's wagon are going to start losing credibility. Now, maybe they're not going to lose credibility with the cult, but they certainly are going to lose credibility with moderate Republicans. Because you have candidates now who are talking about horned people running in Afghanistan who are the same person. And the thing is it doesn't matter what nonsense comes spewing out, particularly out of Q. They just believe it. They just buy it, right? And now when they don't have an answer, all they say is, well, that's what they want you to think. That's what it's insane. So he's going to have more and more exposure, and the more and more exposure he has, the bigger the fall, and the harder the fall, and the more unpleasant the fall. And his legal troubles are just going to keep on keeping on. They're just going to keep on rolling forward. So let's see if we can, I want to sort of move into his energy a little bit. And see what is going on with him. I just can't help but feel that this is like, with every day it gets worse. There is virtually nothing that is going to give him a reprieve, okay? And he is going to become more and more fixated on holding on to what he has, and he's going to be trying to recruit people, whether they're from in this country or outside of the country, but he's lost certainly with a lot of international, he really has lost his punch with them. They really don't have any use for him now because he has no power. He's a has-been wannabe person. It's all about the money. The money is going to be what brings him down, and the money is what he is most terrified of losing. Nervous, anxious, upset, charging ahead because he doesn't have another way to do it. That's what he does. It's just what he does. So it just feels as if he is going to be in for a very rough ride. It is important that we don't gloat about what's coming down the road for him. But it's also important to understand that there is a need. It is part of healing that there is a feeling or a consensus that he is going to be held accountable, okay? And it feels very much like that is what's going to happen. And listen, the thing is, he's not going to be held accountable for every single little thing, okay? He's not. I don't know that the galaxy has that much time, all right? But he's going to be held accountable for enough stuff so that he ends up in a place, in a position where he really has nowhere to go, okay? Where it's been lost, where the rot that's inside of him that he makes manifest in the world is going to collapse and disintegrate. And he's going to be left standing in the middle of this horrible, horrible mess. And I don't believe that even his family are going to be able to help him out because I think his family are going to be in a very similar boat. Okay. So, thank you so much for being here. I hope you've enjoyed this reading. If anybody's looking for private readings, there's information in the drop box below. I am booking really late November into December. So if you're wanting a reading for sort of, what's happening next year, what things look like on the horizon, that kind of thing, take a look at the information below. You just send me an email and I will send back what you need. In the meantime, take care. Be well. We'll see you really soon.